What are your thoughts on Ilia Topuria and Ilia Topuria as a fighter? How do you feel about just the overall fight?
É uma grande luta. Ele é um grande lutador, mas eu não preciso provar mais nada pra ninguém de quem eu sou, o que eu já fiz dentro do cage. Essa luta chegou numa oportunidade gigantesca. Eu vou nocautear esse cara. Essa é ela.
He's gonna knock this guy out.
Então, eu tô em busca do título. Eu não corro de ninguém, nunca corri, não vai ser agora que eu vou correr. Eu tô pronto pra lutar contra qualquer um desses caras, né? Respeito todos eles, mas vou imprimir meu ritmo, meu jogo. Por que não, né? Se for pelo título, por que não lutar com o Topuria? Eu tô em busca do título, eu não quero fazer mais uma luta pra poder esperar o título, não. Pra mim isso não me interessa, eu quero lutar pelo título.
UFC 317 is shaping up to be absolutely massive, and we've got some explosive predictions that you won't want to miss. The lightweight division just got turned upside down, and we're about to witness history in the making. Stay tuned as we dive deep into this championship clash that has the entire MMA world buzzing. Let's start with the bombshell announcement that sent shockwaves through the MMA community. UFC CEO Dana White has officially announced UFC 317 for June 28th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, and folks, this card is absolutely stacked.
June 28th from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. You all know Ilia Topuria, undefeated, 16-0, vacated his featherweight title. He knocked out Volk, Holloway, and now he's moving up to lightweight, and he will face former lightweight champion and number 2 ranked Charles Oliveira for the vacant lightweight title. Co-main event, flyweight champion Mateusz will defend his belt against Kai Kara France. Mateusz hasn't lost a fight in 5 years.
In a stunning turn of events, Islam Makhachev has vacated his lightweight title to move up to welterweight and challenge new champion Jack Della Maddalena. This move has created a vacant lightweight throne, and 2 absolute killers are ready to battle for it. Ilia Topuria, the undefeated Georgian Spanish sensation, will face Brazilian legend Charles Oliveira for the vacant 155-pound championship. This isn't just any title fight, this is a clash between 2 of the most dangerous finishers in the sport.
If Ilia Topuria fights Charles Oliveira on a pay-per-view, that's a big deal.
Oh, it's gonna be a banger
They
fight.
don't need to wait for an interim belt. They don't need to wait for an undisputed. So, yeah. I don't know how he's going to do it lightweight, though. Maybe you can speak on that. He's a smaller guy coming up.
It's a smaller coming up. It'll be interesting because he is bigger from when I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast. Like 191, I think he was walking around. It's massive. So for him to cut to 145 seems almost like, how did he do that? But now that he's going up to 155, I always like when athletes go up.
Topuria, who vacated his featherweight belt earlier this year, is looking to become a 2-division champion. Meanwhile, Oliveira, the former lightweight king with a record 20 UFC finishes, is hungry to reclaim his crown. The co-main event features flyweight champion Alexander Pantoja defending against Kai Kara France in what promises to be another barn burner. Now let's break down these 2 warriors and what makes this matchup so compelling. Ilia Topuria comes into this fight with a perfect 16-0 record and has looked absolutely unstoppable. El Matador shocked the world by knocking out featherweight legends Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway in back-to-back fights. His power is undeniable, his accuracy is surgical, and his confidence is through the roof. At 28 years old, Topuria represents the new generation of MMA. He's currently ranked as the number 2 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, and he's not shy about his ambitions. As he boldly stated, "I'll be the champion of the lightweight division. Charles, my apologies in advance. I'm just fighting for my dreams." Charles Oliveira, on the other hand, is the definition of a veteran warrior. At 35, Bronx holds the record for most finishes in UFC history with 20. This Brazilian submission specialist is no stranger to being the underdog. He's built his entire career on proving doubters wrong. Oliveira's path back to the title hasn't been easy. He's gone 2-2 in his last 4 fights, with losses to Makhachev and Arman Tsarukyan, but victories over Beneil Dariush and Michael Chandler. What makes Charles dangerous is his ability to find finishes from anywhere, whether it's his devastating ground game or his surprisingly heavy hands. The size difference could play a crucial role here. Oliveira is naturally bigger, and as top contender Mateusz Gamrot pointed out, that size advantage could be the X factor in this fight. The MMA community is split on this one, and we're getting some fascinating insights from fighters and experts. Michael Chandler, who has fought Oliveira twice and knows his game intimately, had this to say: "You don't bet against Charles Oliveira because he's so dang good everywhere." With that being said, Ilia Topuria's got some crazy power in his hands and crazy accurate strikes. In the striking department, it leans towards Ilia, but Charles is tough everywhere.
You think is going to win?
Man, it's tough. You don't bet against freaking Charles Oliveira because
Right.
he's so dang good everywhere, and he's a really hard guy to beat. With that being said, Ilia Topuria's got some crazy power in his hands and crazy accurate strikes. So it'll be very interesting to see how that fight goes. You know, you gotta think that the striking department it leans toward Ilia. But Charles is tough everywhere, man. Obviously fighting him twice.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Gilbert Burns, who trains with Topuria and is close friends with Oliveira, found himself in a tough spot when making predictions. While Burns stayed diplomatic, his co-host made a bold claim that's got everyone talking. The prediction? That Topuria will not only defeat Oliveira, but will submit him faster than Islam Makhachev did. Now that's a statement that's sure to raise eyebrows, especially considering Oliveira's legendary submission game.
Avoiding the boxing.
I still think the head kick's the best way to get Ilia. We saw
I know,
in the Jai
but
Herbert
think
fight.
about the clinch, the knees coming.
Yeah.
The elbows, that Oliveira.
I just feel like
clinch,
that's going to leave him
boom,
susceptible to
guillotine.
get a big hook to the chin in that situation.
I don't think so, bro.
Really? So you're picking Charles?
He's a close fight than people think. I both are my guys, you know, so it's kind of
Yeah.
suck for me to pick a side, but I'm just saying that he's a way closer fight than people think. Topuria is still a good grappler, but no kicks, no. It's different, very different matchup.
Yeah. No, I agree. And look, I'm not one to like count out Charles Oliveira,
You
but
just did.
No, I think it's a great matchup for Ilia. But when you get knocked down by Islam goes right to the ground and subs him. I truly believe that Ilia is going to look at that fight and try to submit Charles faster than Islam did.
Burns' co-host believes that if Topuria gets a knockdown, he'll immediately look to the ground and hunt for a submission to make a statement. It's a bold take that highlights just how well-rounded Topuria really is. Meanwhile, Mateusz Gamrot is backing Oliveira, citing the size advantage as a key factor. I think Oliveira is a really big guy. Ilia is a short guy. I think this is going to be much different for both guys. I think this is going to be an advantage for Charles Oliveira, and he gets the win. Let's talk about how this fight could potentially unfold, because the stylistic matchup here is absolutely fascinating. Topuria's game plan seems pretty clear. Use his superior striking to hurt Oliveira early and often. His knockout power is legitimate, and he's shown he can sleep anyone at any moment. But here's what many people don't realize. Topuria's grappling is seriously underrated. He's explosive, strong, and incredibly difficult to control on the ground.
I watched you grapple with Merab. I was super impressed.
Yeah.
I watched the video you grapple him. I'm like, anybody that could do that to Merab, like, holy shit. Because people think about you, they're scared of your striking. But one of the things, like, you opened up a lot of people's eyes in the Ryan Hall fight. Because Ryan Hall was this weird puzzle. He was like this elite Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt who do a lot of strange things. Like he would like, turn his back to people and do weird things. Heel hook BJ Penn like that in the first round. Like
with that Imanari roll.
Yeah. But when you dominated him like that, I was like, Jesus Christ. And then you put his lights out. I was like, wow. Because people think when people see a guy who can strike like you do, they kind of forget about the ground game. You know, they forget that your ground game is very elite too.
For Oliveira, the path to victory runs through his ability to weather the early storm and drag Topuria into deep waters. Charles thrives in chaos. His submission game is second to none, and he's proven time and again that he can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. The Brazilian isn't worried about Topuria's power either. As he confidently stated, I know he's a guy who hits hard, but he's talking about the lightweight category, the harder category. I fought against Justin Gaethje and everyone said he was the guy who hit harder, and when I did, he went down.
Foi muito louco. Não, eu cheguei lá, eu fui embora meio que chateado, sabe? Porque, tipo assim, tinha alguma coisa que vocês tinham que fazer e a gente teve que ficar esperando um pouco e a gente preocupado porque, tipo, a gente tava pelo UFC lá. E, mano, eu ia falando, cara, ele vai ter que ir embora, ele vai ter que ir embora, ele vai ter que ir embora, ele vai ter que ir embora. Aí, tipo, quando abriu a porta, o bagulho pra gente, tipo, mano, foi muito louco. Eu tive que sair lá fora com a galera, sabe? E aí eu vim embora dentro do carro pensando, falei, cara, quantas pessoas, tipo, tinha ali, quantas pessoas ficaram esperando pra, tipo, tirar foto e a gente não tirou nem foto, nem com, sei lá, 10% do que tinha lá. Mas, mano, foi muito louco aquilo ali.
The key battleground will likely be the clinch. If Oliveira can get Topuria against the cage, he can work for takedowns, land knees and elbows, and potentially find those game-changing submission opportunities. But that same clinch could leave him vulnerable to Topuria's devastating hooks and uppercuts. The ramifications of this fight extend far beyond just crowning a new champion. This bout is reshaping the entire lightweight landscape. For fighters like Paddy Pimblett, who recently stopped Michael Chandler in spectacular fashion, this title fight affects his next move. Pimblett had named both Topuria and Oliveira as potential opponents, so with both tied up, he might be looking at fights with Justin Gaethje or Arman Tsarukyan.
He's the nicest man in the world outside the cage, and when he gets it, he's a dirty bastard. I always say, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, so I understand what he's trying to do. That one against Charles, lad, when he punched him in the back of the head about 9 times or something. I hope that's not my referee.
The winner of Topuria versus Oliveira will immediately become one of the biggest stars in the sport. If Topuria wins, he becomes a 2-division champion and potentially the new face of the UFC. If Oliveira reclaims his throne, it's one of the greatest comeback stories in MMA history. Meanwhile, Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight to challenge Jack Della Maddalena adds another layer of intrigue. The lightweight division is about to crown a new king, and the entire division hierarchy is up for grabs.
I think that a lot of good welterweights, obviously I think Islam's, what he's done is probably given him, I think he deserves a shot if he wants to step up, but I guess that's not my call. It's up to the UFC.
UFC 317 on June 28th is shaping up to be an absolute war, and this main event between Topuria and Oliveira has all the ingredients of an instant classic. 2 elite finishers, contrasting styles, championship gold on the line, and predictions that are all over the map. Will Topuria's power and precision be enough to become a 2-division champion? Or will Oliveira's experience and submission wizardry carry him back to the top? Make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell, because we'll be covering every angle of this fight as we get closer to June 28th. Drop your predictions in the comments below. Who do you think takes home the lightweight gold? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep training hard and stay ready.